Shalom, shalom, Israel. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praises unto YAHAWAH, Ba'ashem, YAHAWASHI, Ba'ashem, Warkwakpadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and shalom to the mighty Akim Wagwathium, who are diligently waiting to be delivered from this foul captivity, as well as the speckled bird that may look like the other nations, but are actually Yasharallah. This is Brother Kawakub coming at you with another lesson. And today's lesson is kind of, I don't know if correction video is going to be the best term. Technically, there are some corrections, sure, but it's going to be on this video that I just saw, where you have this Christian thing where it says, oh, 9 things Christians call good, but God calls sin. And it's just basically a bunch of stuff that, you know, Christians, I guess, technically follow after, and he's correcting them, quote unquote correcting them. But the thing is, you know, I just thought that, you know, maybe I would, you know, add on additional correction, and as well as correct him in where he basically gets things wrong, simply because, you know, I just thought, you know, I get on this account more specifically, I get recommended so many different things, and it gets weird basically. All right. So, well, primarily Christian things. But anyway, let's start off with this, because I have so many different stuff. I prepared everything. I literally got all 9 things. I don't remember what all 9 things say word for word, but Yahawadah, when I actually get to the stuff, I'll actually remember which ones to actually talk to, which one he spoke on. But first things first, 1 Corinthians chapter 5 verse 12, for what have I to do to judge them also that are without? Do not ye judge them that are within. And that's basically the thing. This is basically one of the additions I kind of wanted to put in when it comes to judging. They say, oh, only God can judge me, this, that, there, where people, they don't want to hear correction. All right, this is a major thing, a very big thing that you know, people they hate hearing you correct them, and they say, oh, God knows my heart, or whatever, and whatever, rather than actually taking the time to say, okay, you know what, are they actually showing me that this is what the Lord actually wants, and is this genuinely what the Lord YAHAWASHI wants, rather than just saying, oh, I don't care what someone says. Which, by the way, speaking of, I've actually seen someone say that before, when, you know, a brother of mine, okay, he actually was talking to this one guy, and he told him, hey, you know, the Lord does not like that, or whatever. And then the dude that he was correcting, that was telling him about it, he was like, hey, don't tell me what to do, don't tell me what God wants, that's from me and the Lord, and whatever, and stuff like that. He was basically getting super fucking offended, super freaking mad, or whatever, simply because the brother was telling him X, Y, and Z. This is how the Lord wants. This is what the Lord literally says. But again, like, that's the thing about Christianity. They don't care about, even if you had no prior confrontation, or any reason to give someone that, you know, you hate them, or you're trying to hurt them, or you're trying to lead them astray, you know, whenever you show them like what the scriptures say, or whenever you show someone that, and that's when people just get offended. All right, let me actually get that. Offended. Matthew chapter 11 verse 6, and blessed is he whosoever shall not be offended in me. So people get offended by the word of Yahawadah. People are offended that, oh, the Lord said don't eat pork, or the Lord said, if you're a man, grow a beard and whatnot. If you're a woman, submit to your husbands, or whatever. These are the types of stuff that people get offended in, and they don't want to follow after that. They don't want to practice the teachings of what Yahawadah, slocking my throat, of what Yahawadah said. So as a result of that, you know, they just, basically it's kind of like metaphorically they like cover their ears and say la 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 la, I'm not listening, and because they don't want to hear the fact, they don't want to hear the truth of what the Lord actually said. When the Lord said not to do this, not to do that, or to do this or to do that, then rather than actually changing, they just want to say, oh, God knows my heart and I want to stay ignorant. All right. But yeah, that's not how the things work. Now also John 7:24, Slakia, the first precept, this was judging them that are within. Basically, that someone is a brother, so you correct them. So if I know someone is an Israelite and they acknowledge that they're an Israelite, then I can correct them. I can tell them, hey, do this, do that, and whatnot, and I can judge them. I can tell them you're going off of this, and I can rebuke them. But for people that are not in the truth, then that's where if if I've already given them the warning, if the Lord sent them to me in my way, then that's not for me to judge. That's not for me to worry about them. If they don't want to listen to me, then they are without. They are not within my congregation or the family, because the Lord considers. Let me get this. Whosoever. Mark 3 verse 35, but for whosoever shall do the will of Yahawah, the same is my brother and my sister and mother. So basically, whoever's going to do the will of Yahawadah, whoever's going to follow after the teachings of Yahawadah, that's whom we are correcting. All right, that's whom are within. All right, and those are without are, not for us to judge, for Yahawadah to judge, and his judgment is basically are going to be harsh for them. John 7 verse 24, judge not according to appearance, but judge righteous judgment. Basically, it says we're supposed to judge. We are supposed to judge. We are allowed to judge. All right, and the Lord never said you are never allowed to judge. All right. The thing was, judge when you judge, you're not supposed to be preemptive or just say, oh, this person looks like a scammer or whatever, so I'm just going to assume that he's a bad person and whatnot. And that's not how we're supposed to judge. We're supposed to judge like, okay, I'm going to talk to them, ask them, okay, like what's going on, how this, and the third. You're supposed to get the small as well as the great, rather than just believing one side of things. All right. Next, 1 Corinthians chapter 6 verse 3, know ye not that we shall judge angels? How much more things that pertain to this life? So the Lord is saying that we are going to be judging even the angels. All right, so how much more just the little things, comparatively the little things, not little things in general, but the little things like life in this world, life in this kingdom. That's the thing where we are supposed to understand how to judge properly, how to judge righteously. All right. Next, Ecclesiastes chapter 10 verse 7. Was one thing that this guy had said, where he says things are good and how things are reverse, evil for good, good for evil. But I could have gotten that, but I didn't want to. I forgot what he said, but basically, Ecclesiastes chapter 10 verse 7, I've seen servants upon horses and princes walking as servants upon the earth. Which, this is the thing where, like, I always get to, where it displays how reverse everything is. In this kingdom, everything is reversed. Where good where good is lessened or frowned upon, and evil and wickedness is exalted. Okay. People always take pride in, oh, I slept with another man's wife, oh, I stole this or did that, oh, King Von, he shouldn't have died or whatever and stuff like that. Like, I don't know what that dude's name is. I think it is King Von. Is King Von dead? Is King Von dead? Okay, yeah, he's dead. Is King Von a terrible person? I heard that these people are literally they're excusing all the terrible things that he did because he's a rapper. He's a psychopath. Someone called him a psychopath. And this person said, why is it okay that King Von killed black people? I'd like an answer. Y'all, this person from Bilal Shakur, y'all are really that brainwashed that you will overlook evil because it's popular? Vaughn died because he lived a life of violence for no reason. He could have left that stuff behind when he popped off, but was so arrogant and shitty that he threw away a golden opportunity for nothing. Don't respect that, and absolutely don't respect that. Why people are Saki, that's what I heard. People were idolizing. There's a lot of YNs that were idolizing King Von when it's just like, these people are just stupid. Like, what are you doing? Horrible murder. The fact that there's 50-50, not even 50-50, but I guess 30-40, 30-70 or 35-65 people saying he's a terrible person and he was such a great rapper, he's just this, giving him flowers. Like, bro, he is a terrible person. Horrible murderer, probably had it coming. Definitely had it coming, apparently, according to what a lot of these people are saying. Anyway, you get the point where people like this, that's just like, what are you doing? All right. People are exalting, and this, again, a perfect example of that. You have Jake that's exalting King Von. All right. I keep on hearing that name. I don't know exactly what he did, all this or the exact details of how he lived his life, but I do know from just context clues on how people speak on him or how other Jakes have spoken on him, and like, Vaughn was a terrible person. Vaughn is just a demon and stuff like that. And just like, well, like, why do people like him? Like, why are people talking all this good stuff about him? Like, but of course, again, as I said, and as this person even said, because that's one thing that you have to admit at times when, like, these people are just evil. All right, these people love evil, hate. Let me get this. As a matter of fact, I think it's Amos 5:18. Amos 5:15. 3 off. Amos 5:15. Hate the evil and love the good, and establish judgment in the gate. It may be that the Lord YAHAWAH of hosts shall be gracious unto the remnant of Joseph. Basically, here we're supposed to hate evil. Well, why would you? I'm not saying any one of you guys, if you're watching this, or I'm not saying anyone in general is saying that he's good, but just like, why would anyone love a person that just is a demon, that's known for being a demon? All right, and that's the thing. You can't be saying, oh, I love all my Israelite brothers. Nah, no, hell no. All right, so anyway, first things first, let's get into these things right now, because that's the first part of this thing. That kind of a bit of a correction, but also kind of a bit of supporting stuff and whatnot.
But it is biblically true. 1. Entering marriage as a virgin.
So yeah, this is the first thing. Let me get this. Okay. Let's just start at verse. Let's start at verse. Let's start at verse 13. If any man take a wife and go in on to her and hate her and give occasions of speech against her and bring up an evil name upon her and say, I took this woman, and when I came to her I found her not a maid, then shall the father of the damsel and her mother take and bring forth the tokens of the damsel's virginity unto the elders of the city in the gate. And the damsel's father shall say unto the elders, I gave my daughter unto this man to wife, and he hateth her. Basically, to summarize it, all right, because I want to get through all of this quickly. To summarize it, what happened was, you, as a father giving a daughter to wed, your daughter was supposed to be a virgin. That was basically a practice, and it's surprising, I'd say surprising, that this Christian, all right, acknowledges that, but also at the same time, that is something that, what's a word? It's something that, it is a loss because, this is outdated, I don't want to do this, or whatever, and stuff like that. A million excuses in the book and whatnot, where what happened was, people or children, the circumstances allow for children, Slakia, I keep on fucking up, or younger people, all right, to be doing stuff. And I have heard of, not necessarily a statistic, but anecdotes of, people saying that they've lost their virginity in their adolescence, all right, where that type of behavior is kind of the norm now, all right, but that's not supposed to be the case, all right. Sloggy about my stuttering or stammering, but basically, and that's basically how the thing is, where you're supposed to, the first man, if you're a woman, the first man you sleep with, that's supposed to be your husband. And as for a man, is allowed to get multiple wives, though it is not always advisable to do so. Let me get this quickly to prove this first. I'm trying to remember, what is the thing? It was if a man take whatever, let's try this term instead. Raiment not here. Exodus chapter 21 verse 10. If he take him another wife, her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage shall he not diminish. Basically, if as a man, if you are taking another wife, okay, it's, as it says, if you take him another wife, so if you're a man, you're allowed to have multiple wives. You're not supposed to diminish her food or raiment. Like, say for example, if you have, this is in the most ideal example, like not necessarily ideal, but like if money was not an issue, okay, let's say you have two wives, for example, and they both live in two separate houses, okay, and they know of both of each other. You have one wife in a nice, well-off, middle-class neighborhood, all right, and then the other wife is in the hood. That is not, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to treat them well. You're supposed to treat them both properly, all right, and you're supposed to give them money for food and all that stuff. Make sure that they're both taken care of. They have all their needs and necessities, clothes and whatever, as well as, the duty of marriage, quote unquote, which that's basically just sex. Okay, basically you're not supposed to just say, I'm going to only have sex with one wife all the time, and then you just basically end up neglecting that second wife. All right, that's not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to treat them both with respect as well as equally. All right, equally as in, like, you're not supposed to favor one over the other. All right. So yeah, basically as a result of that, that's another reason why we don't have multiple wives in this kingdom. All right, or not necessarily that you don't have multiple wives, but you're allowed to have multiple wives. It's not a sin, but it is advisable at this current moment not to. All right, simply because of stuff like, as I said, it's kind of hard to manage all that stuff. And that example I gave was an example of like, oh, you're rich, or you have all that stuff to in order to give, to supply. But like, I imagine, like, or I can only imagine that most people don't really have money to freaking throw at, oh, I'm gonna buy 2 houses for my wife, or 4 houses, or 7 more specifically, just because I have 7 freaking wives and whatnot. All right, it's irresponsible to do. But of course, if you are a man, no one can tell you what to do with your money. So if you want to, if you can, sure, fine, go ahead. But just know that you do need to, even then, what you are supposed to do, you are supposed to take care of all of them equally and fairly. All right, and make sure that they're all taken care of. Anyway, continuing on, Hebrews 12 verse 6: for whom the Lord loveth, Slocky, let me get this. Next one. Here, parenting with discipline. Basically, this is a funny thing, because the parallel to this is actually us and how the Lord handles us. The Lord is our Heavenly Father, okay, as even Christians call him. Now, Hebrews 12 verse 6: for whom the Lord loveth, he chastiseth and scourgeth every son whom he received. And also Proverbs 3 verse 12: for whom the Lord loveth, he correcteth, even as a father the son in whom he delighteth. And that's the thing, where you have this whole new stuff with gentle parenting. I don't have kids, but not that I want kids. Of course I want kids. As a, I guess, man of the Lord, as the Lord did say, be fruitful and multiply. So of course I do want kids, but the issue is that I don't want kids now. Basically, I don't want to have them get corrupted, or freaking having a daughter going around sleeping around, or being online like these. Like, I've heard and seen so many of these women. Let me get this example. I'm not gonna, I was about to search this name, not just a name, but I'm too afraid that something's gonna pop off. But basically, I heard of just this one woman that went through 100 men. I think it was 100 or 1,000 men in one day or something like that. I don't remember the exact details, but like, I think she said that it fucked with her head and whatnot. It just messed with her head and stuff like that. She just did not think that, I don't know. I don't remember, but this type of stuff, I would be devastated to hear that my daughter had just partook in that, or did that, and then on top of that, just hearing that my son either got killed by the police, or my son is doing some sort of evil stuff, or whatever else, like just a million freaking things. I could not. I don't know. I just cannot. I don't think I could stomach it. All right. I have a weak stomach when it comes to certain things and stuff like that. But just like in general, I don't know. I just couldn't. Anyway, continuing on. So is this? Nope. Let's get to the next one. All right. So
God.
Now the next thing.
Corrects his own.
Now the next thing is alcohol. Slakia. Alcohol. Basically, he's saying you're not allowed to. Don't drink alcohol, smoke, and whatnot. Slakia. Basically, for smoking, yeah, you definitely should not smoke at all. But if you want to drink, sometimes, that's fine. Even Yahawashi enjoyed drinking some wine, and you're allowed to drink wine, but the thing is that not to overindulge in it. All right, let's get this. Proverbs 25 verse 16: hast thou found honey? Eat so much as is sufficient for thee, lest thou be filled therewith and vomit it. Basically, too much of a good thing is bad for you, or it can make you sick, and that's what we want to avoid doing. Okay, you don't want to say, oh, I'm gonna drink so much, oh, alcohol is so enjoyable, this, that, and the third, where you get, I think if you drink enough, you can get alcohol poisoning, and it can be lethal. I believe that's what I heard. But yeah, this thing where you're not just overindulging, and you're allowed to just enjoy yourself a bit, all right, rather than just constantly being, what's the word? I don't know what the term is, but you basically get the point. Yeah, I read this, and what's the next one? Oh yeah, wait, what the fuck? Did I already pass this? Oh no, I remember. Alright, so basically it's marriage without getting legally married. That's basically what he goes in. This is another correction. This is basically another correction because legally getting married, like, how you have to understand, how does getting legal marriage papers in the eyes of the government, how is that tied onto YAHAWASHI? There's nothing that's tied into there in that sense. It's a matter of the eyes of YAHAWASHI and what the actual marriage chambers is, and that is this, Ruth chapter 4 verse 13. So Boaz took Ruth, and she was his wife, and when he went in unto her, the Lord gave her conception, and she bare a son. And let me see if I have another one just in case. Okay, I guess not. I don't. But I think, who was it? Was it Rebecca? Rebecca. On. Went. Bear with me one moment. One moment, please, Lucky. There, Genesis 24 verse 67, and Isaac brought her into his mother Sarah's tent, and took Rebekah, and she became his wife, and he loved her, and Isaac was comforted after his father's death. Basically, over here, when a man goes in onto a woman, that's basically when, and also on top of that, more specifically a virgin woman, that's when said woman becomes said man's wife. And so basically the very first man that a woman sleeps with, that's what, what's the thing's called? That's what I'm trying to freaking think. That's what marriage is, alright? As it says, and took Rebekah, brought her into his tent, and took Rebekah, and she became his wife. So she became his wife when he went in onto her, when she came into his tent, when they were alone. Obviously, what are they going to do? What are two adults like that, one man, one woman, going to do alone in a freaking tent or whatever? All right, clearly, the implications are clear. All right, so yes, it's not about no legal, and this is a very Babylonianistic thought process to say that type of stuff. Marriage is important, yes, of course, but you have to understand that you are too focused on implementing Babylonian customs into your thing, and that's a Christian way that I don't even know if they even realize that. Well, I guess they don't. All right. And that's just giving them the benefit of the doubt, where they don't realize that you are mixing pagan customs with the Lord, the same way that the Muslims do. Okay, kissing the black stone and stuff like that, and saying, "Oh, this is what God wants" and stuff like that. Where no, the Lord never said buy a ring. There's nothing that says buy a ring that's 3 months worth of your salary or whatever, and give it to your wife. All right, no, that's not how the Lord. That is not the ordinances of the Lord. Okay, so let me see. Am I done with this? Yeah. Oh yeah. Next. Here, dressing with modesty is the next one. So 1 Timothy chapter 2 verse 9. In like manner also that women adorn themselves in modest apparel with shamefacedness and sobriety, not with broided hair or gold or pearls or costly array. Basically, don't be doing extra. Don't be trying to show off your goods and stuff like that. That's only something that's supposed to be for your husband. All right. But you have women that do that, looking like freaking prostitutes. In all honesty, okay. Let me see what's next. Yeah, and then there's this gender ideology thing. I mean, I guess quickly I'll just go over this briefly. Colossians chapter 3 verse 18. Wives, submit yourselves unto your husbands as it is fit in the Lord. And then Ecclesiasticus no. I think that's it. Yeah, basically it. Next. Okay, so yeah, the next thing. No, first off, I think this is it, because it was. Yeah, let's just do this quickly. Sirach verse 26 verse 23. A wicked woman is given as a portion to a wicked man, but a godly woman is given to him that feareth the Lord. And basically, for people, for women that say, "Oh, there's no good men. Oh, men treat me like trash," or women, or a man saying, "Women treat me like trash." Well, that's the thing. The Lord, is like the best matchmaker. Basically, the fact that the Lord, sets you up with someone a certain way, that just means that you really have to examine yourself. Okay, because if you see so much wrong with your woman, or as a woman you see so much wrong with your man, then maybe you should examine yourself and then actually reflect on, okay, you know what, I see where I was wrong. I see where I need to do better, and this where I need to have certain patience. Okay, let me try to do things the right way, and be a diligent and proper servant unto YAHAWAH, and so on. All right. Next, Matthew 18 verse. No. Yeah, congregation here. 7.1, attending church regularly. This is basically another thing where they think that you have, or he's saying that you have to go to church all the time and stuff like that. Obviously he would say that because they want the churches filled up and stuff. They want people indoctrinated. But the thing is that technically it is right that we are supposed to congregate together, but the problem with it is that specifically the church, they are exploiting their people. I'll say specific churches are exploiting people, like those super churches and whatnot, where they're trying to just steal your money and whatnot. But ultimately, yes, technically we are supposed to congregate, and as Israelites we are supposed to congregate as well, which is where, if you don't have a camp or whatever nearby, and that's where you're supposed to kind of just stick to the online congregations, because that's what the Lord has for us, where we're able to congregate. And so many brothers, I think brothers are doing live streams and stuff like that, where brothers do live streams where you're able to just go in there, ask questions and whatnot, listen and learn and stuff like that, where it's not just a matter of doing whatever, but you're also able to learn. All right. Next, let me see if I'm. Oh yeah, here, Matthew 18 verse 20. For where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them. All right. That's the thing where, at least 2 people or 3 people there, that's basically your church. Next, what is. And oh yeah, and I will admit, I'll give credit to him. He did say, what he did say was, if you're not congregating with people, then you just stick to doing whatever you want rather than what the Lord wants. And it does kind of breed laziness and not being more hard on yourself in order to do the right thing. All right, where you develop your own kind of doctrine and whatnot. Now, this is another one good thing. 2 Corinthians, staying away from bad influences. 2 Corinthians 6 verse 14. Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers, for what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness, and what communion hath light with darkness. That's another thing where we're not supposed to be going around sticking with king bonds or stuff like that. We're supposed to stay close to our own. All right, specifically those that follow after us. But sometimes we can't. All right, but it's just better. And at that point, just better to be alone. All right, but of course, in certain situations, you're not able to be alone. You just have to just kind of keep things professional. All right, quote unquote professional. Next, finally. Okay, whatever. Basically, yeah, you saw the thing. He said observing the Sabbath, which is baffling to me. Okay, baffling to me. I forgot what I wanted to use that for, but basically, Matthew chapter 5 verse 8 verse 17. Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law, till all be fulfilled. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. Basically, to end it up here, this person is saying, "Oh, you only have to teach. You only have to keep the Sabbath. You only have to do this," and rather than telling people to actually keep the entirety of the law. And that's the thing, that's a problem with Christianity. They are selective rather than actually accepting that we have to do everything that the Lord tells us, not just pick and choose. All right, but of course this whole Sabbath thing only goes, which he actually does kind of explain, that it goes back into going to church on Saturdays or Sundays, which I think there's a lot more churches that have church congregation on Saturdays now. Which again, like, that's the thing where it's the selectiveness of it. All right, it's a selectiveness rather than going through with what do you have to do, what are you expected to do, what is the right thing, what does the Lord want us to do. And it's not just keeping Sabbath, but it's also everything. All right, and that's what repenting is. So with that, I pray this lesson was edifying. I'm going to give all honor, glory, and praise unto YAHAWAH, SHAMAIWAN, double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone, Abad, Ball, and Shalom.